Hello, everyone. I'm Cliff Jones with Conversion Marketing Experts, and I want to introduce you to Jim Packard, who's become a good friend of mine for a number of reasons. Jim, welcome to the call today. I'm excited to have you, and I'm excited to let you share what you're all about with our audience and tell them why you're doing what you're doing. So great to have you. Thanks for being with me.
Well, thank you. It's from the first time that you and I met, it was kind of a unique situation, and it kind of plays into what I do for business now.
Yeah, well, we hit it off for a number of reasons. Our dogs got along great. My underdog. What's your dog's name again?
My dog's name is Cody. He's a little rescue, Cocker
Yeah,
Spaniel.
yeah. So Cody and Underdog hit it off, and then we became fast friends. From the minute you told me what you do, of course, you do a number of things as an entrepreneur, but your core business just really intrigued me. And I've introduced you to a number of my clients since then. They all love you. Tell us a little bit about your core business, who it is that you work with for the most part, and how you got that whole thing going.
Sure. Well, it starts back in Maine. I owned a photocopier company. And typical of any young company starting out, I was undercapitalized, but I had a lot of dreams and ambitions and desires. And I sat back and I go, how can I make my company competitive? How can I even survive? And I'm a firm believer that if you look at other industries and take an idea perhaps that they're using that could be as common as dirt, when you applied it to your industry, it could have the effect of an atomic bomb going off. And I remember my dad was in the insurance business, and he used to have what they call a debit account where they had to go to their clients every single month and collect the debit. And I took that concept and applied it, and I required all my salespeople to have monthly contact with every client. I didn't care if they did it note, card, letter, phone call, personal visit, because I realized that the number one reason why somebody doesn't do business with you is that number one reason they forget you. Number two reason is because they think you took your business for granted in the first time. And I didn't want that to happen, Cliff. So I required my salespeople to have monthly contact. And I always remembered I couldn't find greeting cards to send to people that were appropriate. At least they weren't sales-oriented cards that I could utilize. So eventually I built a pretty large business, had a 40% market share in the state of Maine with major accounts. And it was because we had a program put in place where we contacted them on a daily basis. And once I sold my company, I sold it to a company called Icon Office Solutions. And once I retired, I just took that concept to a whole different level and designed a line of greeting cards that were sales-oriented. And I got very fortunate that people like Zig Ziglar and Tommy Hopkins and Brian Tracy and Harvey McKay all utilized my card. So it gave me some recognition from that point of view. And kind of the rest is history.
So your core business back in the day in Maine was selling office products.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you're insisting that your salespeople do their very best to follow up and be personalized. And here we are fast forwarding to today where everybody's using email and text message. And you and I have talked about this a lot. It's almost as though the handwritten note, the greeting card is a lost art. But what you've proven over and over again, and I'm experiencing it now as everybody else who uses your system, is that greeting card touch is one of the most powerful ways to stay in touch with people. Why is that?
Well, first of all, only 3% of the mail is personal. So if you send a card, it stands out. That's number one. I don't know about you, but I got up this morning, and when I logged onto my computer, I had 37 emails. And I went delete, 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 delete. I think I might have read 2 of them out of the 37. And most emails don't get opened, and Lord forbid if it had an attachment, it drops way down.
Right.
And I saw by sending a card, it's just another touch point. And we all know that, depending on what business you're in, it takes 5 or 6 or 7 contacts with a client before they even do business with you. So it's just another valuable tool to have in your tool bag.
And so your core business today is called Rainmaker Marketing. I know you have a couple of other business interests. You're highly active in the community, especially with nonprofits. So,
yeah.
the focus of Rainmaker Marketing really is sales enablement and presenting and sharing this amazing greeting card tool with any business or person that wants to leverage it, right?
Absolutely. What we've done is we've kind of taken the personal touch and combined it with with the touch of technology. And we've done so that if, for example, right after you and I met, I came back home, I logged onto my computer, went to our website, I found the greeting card that was appropriate to send to you. I actually included a Starbucks $10 gift card. Yep. I think the message was just something along the line, Cliff, when you get a moment, give me a call, let's have coffee, I'll buy.
Yeah.
And of course that got your attention, and you called me, and now we're, obviously we became fast friends.
I wouldn't have called you if I didn't like you or our dogs didn't get along.
I know.
I would have given the $10 to my wife and said, "Thanks a lot, pal."
Well, I had my Boston Red Sox hat on too, so.
And you did. Good old Yastrzemski and Fisk, my childhood heroes. Okay, so your core business, I love this part of your story, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to introduce you to my world, my network, who's pretty much focused on digital marketing these days, right? But you, I don't remember all the numbers, but tell us a little bit about the scope of your business, this greeting card business you've built over, the last 8, 9, 10 years or something?
Yeah, now because I had my own line of greeting cards, and very effective cards, obviously, because I had some big name people that were utilizing them. When I went to when I was able to combine it with the technology side, I mean, I literally can go to my site, find the card I want, type a message in my own handwriting, hit send. When I hit send, we print the card, we put it in an envelope, we put a stamp on it, we drive it to the post office and mail it for you. And cards cost less than $1. And if you're on the the program that I'd probably recommend, and it's just so simple to use. And at the same time, in the technology world today with text, and I think there's a place for text, and I think there's a place for emails. And although somebody just told me that only 20% of emails even get opened up anymore, which
well, that would be a good day, okay?
Yeah.
And even those statistics are a little goofy. So the truth is, we're bombarded with email, bombarded with junk mail, and what you said earlier is the card stands out. And I know from my personal experience, because I put the system in place and integrated it with my marketing automation system seamlessly. So that I could integrate it. People love the cards. They call me and they say, "Hey, thanks for the card," and I don't even like my own handwriting. So when I was trying to handwrite them and get them out, I was throwing out paper, throwing on a first cut stamp, driving them to the mailbox or walking to the mailbox. This just made it a lot easier, and people love these things. So, but tell us a little bit about the structure of your business and the scale, because that kind of blows me and everybody else away.
Well, over the years, I've set up 16,000 what I call affiliates.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they all have at least a couple customers. I know. I mean, so probably another 40, 50,000 customers. And it's interesting. I was told that a greeting card gets opened up 11 times more often than any other form of correspondence. And when you look at that, you go, wow. I mean, at least. If you get a greeting card in the mail, well, let me ask you this. I don't care if you bought what you bought recently, a car or a house or anything. When's the last time you got a thank you card?
I can't. You know what? The last time was when I bought something in Nordstrom about a decade plus ago, and somebody from Nordstrom wrote me a note. But it hardly ever happens anymore.
And that's Nordstrom, which obviously is a very well thought of company. And so just the fact that you send a card just separates you and differentiate yourself from everybody else. And as you alluded to earlier, Cliff, I do a lot of work with nonprofit organizations. And I went to a seminar the other day, and it said that if you gave to a nonprofit this year, next year, the chances are only 23% of the people that gave this year will give to the same nonprofit next year.
Yeah, just writing that down, because I actually, you and I were talking about that earlier this week, and I wrote an article. It's going to be in the Business Journal on it, sharing some of those numbers. So I'm writing them down again to make sure I got the numbers right.
Well, yeah, and 43% of all people don't donate at all, and after the first
year again, right? It was like
Yeah, ever. Yeah, and the number one reason they give is that because they did not receive a prompt and meaningful thank you.
Wow. I could tell you, making my own donations, there's one time I made donations where it was a form letter, but it was actually signed by the executive director's hand and the team, and they made it personalized. But in the donations I make, I get a little receipt for tax purposes, and that's about it.
Yeah, it says, "Dear donor," right? Thank you for
Yeah, well, sometimes they might get the name right. Yeah, but you nailed it, because it's nonprofits, like small businesses. They're all struggling to grow and keep their customer base. I think nonprofits, to their credit today, are run by more business-minded people than ever before. But still, the business people I see running nonprofits, they are not getting the marketing automation. There's an inherent amount of fear in terms of investing in these technologies or putting money into things that, from my perspective, are all about return on investment. And I forget the numbers you told me, but the return on investment is significant.
A 5% increase in customer retention will yield as much as an 80% profit on your bottom line. I mean,
say that again. Say that, because that blows me away.
A 5% increase in customer retention, right, can generate as much as 80% to your bottom line profit.
Wow. And that's just from your experience working with lots of small businesses and companies over the years.
You know, I'll give you a great example. You can have fun with the cars too. You can be creative. I have one client that's an appliance store, and he sends the stoves and refrigerators that people have bought birthday cards every year. So instead of sending it to the consumer, he sends it to the refrigerator. Imagine opening up your mail and your refrigerator gets a birthday card. Hi, you're 7 years old today.
Right.
And I have another person that used a 7-card campaign to ask a girl to the prom. I have another person that watched a show on television called The Secret Millionaire, and she wrote the person a note, said how effective she was of the relationship that he had with his daughter. And make a long story short, he calls her. She's sitting at her house in Georgia, and he calls her saying, "Thank you very much for the card you sent me. It meant a lot to me." And she said, "Well, the show meant a lot to me." And he said, "Well, what you don't understand," he said, "I received 211,000 emails from people after that show aired on ABC. One greeting card."
211,000 contact and one greeting card. No wonder they screwed that up.
The rest of the story, Cliff, is that he invited her, and he owned a bunch of art galleries, and he invited her to the opening of his art gallery in LA and provided flight, hotel room, and she sat at their head table with him.
Wow. Well,
one card, right?
You're a relationship guy. So what you're really saying is these note cards help us build better relationships with human beings. Business.
Yes. Keep in mind one thing, if you're a business person, for every month that goes by where you don't have contact with a client, you lose 10% of your influence. So if a year goes by where you don't talk to somebody or see somebody, even though they might have bought something from you, you don't have any leverage. You don't have any influence over that person. And in fact, I was reading on the Realtors national site, it said 82% of all homeowners that bought their house more than 2 years ago could not tell you the name of their real estate agent. That blew me away. I didn't believe that. And so I went to the local coffee shop one day and asked 20 people if they bought their house more than 2 years ago. If they said yes, I asked them, "Please give me the name of your realtor." Only 4 people could do it. And it was right on the number.
Testing. I can just see you hitting all those people up in the coffee shop right now, right?
Yeah.
So you help small businesses, you help nonprofits, you help individuals who just want to send holiday cards, I guess, right? But who's your main focus in this?
Yeah, my target market really is the entrepreneur, is the business person that understands the lifetime value of a customer, and will do anything they possibly do to keep that relationship. And I'm not naive enough to think that a greeting card sent to somebody solves all their problems, but it certainly separates you from everybody else.
Well, full disclosure, you and I have become partners in this little venture because conversion marketing experts, when I meet people like you, I want to plug you in, I want to use the service, and right away I started using the card service, and like I said earlier, I integrated it with my marketing automation system. So you got me off to the races, and pretty much everybody I've introduced you to since, as small business owners and entrepreneurs, have found value in it. And you pretty much make it easy for everybody. So, I mean, when I introduce somebody to you, you basically show them the system and set them up and take care of it, which makes my life really easy.
Well, it's fun, and obviously it strengthens everybody's relationship, and it adds a real value to somebody's business. So I feel good about it.
Well, I'm encouraged that it integrates with the current technologies, because none of us really want to run parallel systems if we don't have to. But the value of the system is just phenomenal. It's, just from my personal experience, it's easy to customize campaigns. It's easy to make them personalized. I started dabbling again with my hack photography stuff, and put a bunch of my own images and imported whatever I want. And once I got over that little bit of a learning curve with your help and the online chat support for the system, because they're always available, very, very helpful in answering my questions, it was easy to use. So it's inexpensive, it's dirt cheap, it's highly effective, it's affordable, and people just love it. So what else would you share with people about your focus and the value of what you're doing?
Well, one thing, we just came out with a new feature which allows us to white label the cards. And it allows us, so if you have a client that wants to communicate with their database, on the back of the cards, and say, instead of saying Hallmark or American Greetings or anything, it can actually be their logo. Which, and just give you a great example, the other day I was down at the Phoenix Suns operation, and great people. I used to be season ticket holder there, and they were having a little breakfast to, introduce us to the coach and the team and some philosophy, in hopes that we'll renew our tickets. And I sent them a card saying thank you for the time this morning, and in the back of the card I put their little miniature basketball, actually, and sent it to the person head of sales. And
that's great.
A few days later, I get a phone call going, how did you put my logo on the back of your card? How did you put that basketball on the back of the card? And I go, it's just a service that we offer. And as a result, I now have a brand new client. So,
yeah, well, you know what? You're the consummate sales guy, marketing guy. People, you're easy to like, you're easy to get along with, you got a lot of good stories, and I can understand why business people, entrepreneurs, and I can understand why you're successful in your business, because you've been at this business now, this particular business, for what, about 10 years?
I've been in this one 10 years, and I love it, and I grew a business around it as a result. So I understand the value of staying in touch with a client.
Yeah.
And just having a personal touch and using the technology just came together so beautifully, and I just believe in it. So.
Looks like you got the phones ringing off the hooks there. You're popular.
Yeah.
So just kind of in wrapping up, how would people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing?
A couple of different ways. They can just send me an email, jim@jimpackard.com. That would certainly do it.
Okay.
They can call me, 480-513-8131.
Okay.
Or they can call you, and you can refer them to me.
Good. Well, people know how to get in touch with me. They now know how to get in touch with you. I hope you don't get a bunch of junk email and sales calls that we're putting this out on the internet, because we'll have this edited and live in no time. So if you do get inundated, looks like I'll be buying you coffee next time.
I look forward to it.
Well, Jim, really, thank you very much for sharing your story, your background, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you. I love your system, and I hope more people take advantage of it. So thanks again for being with me.
Thank you. My pleasure, Cliff.
All right, Jim. Take care.